Hello again. Back with some Dominion action. This is Canada's second team, the B team as they're called. They are 0-2 so far, and this is the third match in their lineup. amoffett11 is representing Canada, and GrassWonder is representing Japan. We have both players opening with 3-4 on this board. No plus buy comes to mind. There's a gain in transmogrify, so that'll be important. We have our fond troublemaker here, the swindler, causing trouble since intrigue. So let's see how the players go about this. Couple strong cards from intrigue here. Tortura is here as well. Alright, cheers. Let's see how this pans out. So on the opening here, you probably consider double amulet, transmogrify amulet, amulet monastery. Some kind of trash in is what I'm getting at here, because Swindler will put, well, it'll turn your junk into worse junk, and there's Torturer around as well. Transmogrify is there to serve as an extra gain and perhaps convert a bad starting hand into a workable one. Alright, so GrassWonder has first player. Seems to be ready to make the first move here. Somebody has Swindler 25% and it showed up. Ooh, sorry for that person. Whoever that is. So the interesting part of the game here would be your buys in the first few turns. Once you have the deck set up with greens and torturers, the decisions, well, they kind of shift focus, and I think they become a little bit easier. You want to have some kind of money in your deck, preferably gold. Swindler can't turn your gold into anything else beside gold, so that's safe money. And then move on to buying provinces from there. You don't need a lot of money, you just need the 8 to buy province. Something like gold, Swindler might be enough to get you there. So GrassWonder taking their time, making sure they think things through here, and justifiably so. You want to make sure and get your opening buys down proper, given that you only have the one for the entirety of the game. So a second copper comes out from GrassWonder. Will they reveal all three, or will they leave amoffett in suspense, making them think they have 5-2. 5-2 is good here, I think. You pick up Torture Monastery and you feel happy about that. So Torture forces you to discard cards, right? Yup. So green soft counters that. So the attack isn't as potent, but you know, early up, greens might be in your hand all the time, so I think it still has a place here. Alright, so amulet for Japan, amulet for Canada. Now let's see what the 4 is. Will it be a second amulet? Will it be a transmogrify? So the transmogrify can work out if you see it turn 3, put it down, turn 4, turn an estate into an amulet, or Harbinger or Silver if you have the amulet in hand on turn 4, and you probably get to 5 or at least 4 there, and you've trashed a few cards from your deck. So double amulet, and we see the instant collision for GrassWonder. Amoffett opt-in for transmogrify and amulet instead. So Canada's opening there will avoid the collision. I think the double amulet is worth the risk here of the collision. So here's where you have to make interesting decisions, right? This obviously didn't work out for Japan, but how do you play around this? You know, your next hand you have 3 or 4 coppers. You could probably get a 5 cost here on the next hand, probably, maybe not. What do you do here? Do you trash, pick up the monastery? Do you not trash? Not trashing seems wrong. I think you have to put the amulet in play and trash. But then, what is your turn 4 going to look like? How can you organize your buy to mitigate the effects of this terminal collision here? Does it mean you get an archive to help speed up in the trashing? Do you continue as usual buying a village green or a torturer maybe? Of course, it depends on what you see on turn 4. You'll draw minimum 3 copper. Right, so you have the option to trash again and then maybe buy a silver. You probably don't want to buy silvers though with amulets in play. The amulets can gain you them easily, so yeah, obviously the amulet comes out. Buy 2 amulets and then play none of them. No, that's obviously not going to happen. So I think, yeah, the thought here is about the next turn really, and how to manage the terminal collision. We'll see what GrassWonder comes up with here. So the estate goes, would you like a monastery? Is the question here. I feel like the answer is no. Double amulet trashes a lot of cards. Yeah, they opt to not get the monastery. Amoffett's turn is considerably easier. Trash the estate. Do they buy a monastery? I also think they don't, but they go ahead for it. Now let's see if they pause on the trashing to get a 5 cost, or they continue and pick up a transmogrify or a village green. This is likely here. Okay, no, they go for the archive. Alright. So they do opt to pause on the trash and take the 5 cost. Amoffett trashes a copper and gets the transmogrify down, picking up a swindler. So they have 2 terminals each. Japan has the 2 amulets, and Amoffett has a swindler and an amulet. Right. Amoffett also has the monastery to help them trash. So 4 here could be transmogrify, could be village green. Mill also interacts with the village green favorably, right? Discard the greens and you get your money and the greens into play. So you don't actually burn cards from your hand to do that. Alright, so let's see if Transmogrify or Village Green comes out here for GrassWonder. It seems a reasonable time to get a Transmogrify for them, honestly. It's a bit worrying, troublesome for GrassWonder because there is some chance that the amulets collide again. So if you're thinking about that, right, the amulets may collide, you could think about Village Green here, because you may see your archive in the next hand. play the archive, and there's a small chance you find the village green to avoid that terminal collision from the amulet. Small chance, right? But then, like, that's a very specific hand. You need archive, amulet, amulet. And maybe that's just not worth playing around. It probably isn't worth playing around. Yeah, transmogrify. There you go. So the village green wouldn't have prevented this from working out. So amoffett turns an estate into silver. Ooh, and kills the archive. That's brutal. That's a big setback this early in the game. Mischief managed, Swindler. And now amoffett goes for a torturer, third terminal. So I expect to see a village green from them on this turn here. A rough position for Japan here, gaining silver, buying a silver as well. Yeah, village green for amoffett, trashing 1 with the monastery. Will they take a 5 cost here, GrassWonder? I wonder. Or will they trash and pick up a green? Yeah, I didn't think so. They want their archive back. That's fair. Probably the amulet comes out instead of the torturer for amoffett. Probably. Yeah, so there's the amulet. Ups to gain a silver and pick up a village green. Right, so GrassWonder probably trashes a copper here, picks up a 5 cost. Perhaps a second archive. They seem to be going after those. So far, amoffett has the only transmogrify in the game, right? They've managed to get 1 use of it. They've turned an estate into a silver. Gold. Okay. Alright. So this swindler nicks an amulet, gives a harbinger, another village green. The gold is interesting. It suggests a more money intensive, money heavy strategy from GrassWonder here. Gets rid of an estate, and with 4 transmogrify. Transmogrify could also help to undo some of the swindler mischief. The amoffett's turn, I expect it to be set aside the green by silver. No, don't buy the silver, buy the harbinger, it's better. Alright, so Japan gets the transmogrify now. Oh, they do play their green, find their swindler, and pick up another torturer. Okay, I thought they would set aside the green, but I guess not. And there's a torturer for Japan as well. Silver into green, transmogrify doing work, and here comes the first torturer of the game. GrassWonder discards. Village green to draw cards. And probably to draw cards again. No, opt-in. Oh yeah, they do draw cards again. Swindler kills the second amulet. No, that's bad. This whole game has gone awful for Japan. Swindler has damaged that deck. Probably beyond repair at this point. As amoffett continues to trash, adds a third torturer to the deck. This is going to be unpleasant very quickly for GrassWonder, I feel. Transmogrify goes down, another torturer, but no village green yet for Japan, and here comes Torturer Train. Right? First Torturer, second Torturer, third in hand. Do you discard to nothing? And do you take a curse? Take a second curse? All bad decisions. Which is the least bad decision? So all in all, just one curse gained, but discards 3 cards from the hand. Swindler doesn't really do anything here. They have 9. They have province money, but they're going to opt to stabilize a little bit fair, considering Amoffett is ahead in the deck development. Silver comes off the archive for Village Green. Yes, no, green, green. Okay, Transmogrify turns the silver into a swindler and trashes the monastery, which is... that doesn't really bother Amoffett at this point. And picks up a Village Green, okay. Yeah, Transmogrifies and silver into Village Green, gets the extra actions. And another triple Torturer. This is quad Torturer, right? Yeah, they bought another one last turn. Yeah, this is terrible. And this is how Torturer games tend to go. Whoever could line up the chain first tends to win these games. That looks like Amoffett in this case. They don't have to worry about economy either because the amulet can gain them silver. Plus they have a swindler in the deck, which is 2 coin. So I expect them to continue trashing. Swindler trashes are green, which is not a bad hit of the swindler. You would take any of the 4s really. Hands out a mill in place of the green. Let me give you some real green, right? Amulet gains a silver and picks up another Torturer for Amoffett. So they really want to drill home these curses. Taking the curse. Obviously the amulet is going to clip that out from the hand as quickly as it came in. Yep. And here comes another Torturer chain. This is painful to be on the receiving end of this. 5 Torturers now. Just one after the next. That's rough. That is rough. Only 3 curses left in the supply. Trashes Duchy, probably returns Duchy. Probably could just continue building easily with a Village Green. Or if you really want to make them Buchwonder, you could buy a Werewolf in that position to start dropping hexes out as well. Alright, so GrassWonder is going to line up a green and a Torturer here. That's good for them. Look at their discard pile. 5 curses at Duchy. Oof. So again, Amoffett probably happily takes this curse and then trashes it out from the hand. Or they have 2 Village Greens in, right? They could have discarded the Village Greens there and then had them in play for the next turn. Maybe they'll see it on this Torturer. Get rid of the greens. Get rid of the greens. It does get rid of the greens now. So it looks like they have one card in hand, but really, those greens just went on the table. No problem. Alright, so GrassWonder gets up to 8 here with that double torturer turn. Let's see what they opt for in this position. They have no trash in left save or transmogrify. Both their amulets have been knocked out by the Swindler. Swindler's been a sniper this game for amoffett, really. Snipe the early archive, snipe both amulets out. Yeah, I don't think you get the province here. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe you do. But I don't see how to get back in this game for GrassWonder. They need to get some kind of trashing back in the deck, whether it be a monastery or amulet. They won't have turns like these consistently. They won't. Okay. Gets the archive, alright. Planning to kind of sift through the junk that way. And probably the curses get emptied here. And GrassWonder does not have to make any more painful decisions after this turn is finished. Probably. Oh, well, never mind, they've discarded their whole hand, so Torturer equal outpost, right? Haha. Swindler hits a duchy again. He's probably going to hand out another duchy. That amulet could probably keep cleaning up the deck there. Yeah, does trash, does have 9, does opt for province. Okay. So amoffett going for the green route here. GrassWonder just let the archive run its course there. Calling the transmogrify, turn in, I assume, silver into green. Right? Yeah, silver into green. Gains back the silver with the amulet. Asks some more questions with the torturer. Which of these bad options would you like? Would you like to discard cards or gain curses to your hand? And the curses are out. Hooray, finally. The curses are out. So Swindler hits a torturer, delivers a duchy into the deck. Green for now, probably puts the other green for next turn. Oh, this green was for next turn. Gets another province, yeah. Swindler hits an estate, not consequential at all. Yeah, sometimes you have sniper swindlers and sometimes you have rubbish swindlers, so just have to roll with it sometimes, you know. It's unfortunate it happens in a crucial match like this, but not much you could do about that. You didn't put the archive on top of the deck, right? And your opponent didn't put it on top of the deck either. Copper into copper, transmogrify goes down. Amoffett probably continues buying provinces. I mean, alternatively Alternatively, they could consider trying to empty the greens and torturers, but yeah, either way wins. Doesn't really matter here what they do at this point. Archive probably takes the gold. We have some Japanese support in the chat, it seems. Although I really have no idea. Transmog. Green into green, okay. That's fair. Alright, there's the resignation, okay. Alright, so game 1 goes to Canada. They really need to win this match and win it by a big margin to stay alive in their overall game situation against Japan. Let's see how much amoffett can take. So the amoffett will have first player here. We have another kingdom. What do we have? We have some actions, we have some draw, we have some gain, no buy. Alright, open it with the groom. Oh, there's the magic lamp here, so you could get rid of that for the wishes. Okay. Something to keep in mind. I would be tempted here. Wait, you can't trash. Okay, I'm not tempted to do the thing that I wanted to do anymore. I was going to suggest some kind of Ironworks heavy cursed village deck for fun. The lack of trashing makes that a little more difficult. You could still do it if you want. But that may not be optimal here. I'm not really sure what is optimal here. Alright, so let's see what they get on 3 here. You obviously have an eye towards triggering the magic lamp somehow, right? So that probably involves some kind of secret passage, experiment, cave, ironworks, enchantress as the 6 unique cards. So they both open the same way with the cave and the groom. This groom is for what? A passage? Experiment? And then buy the passage? No, for the ironworks. Okay, that's reasonable too. And this is for second groom. Alright, didn't expect the second groom. Let's see how much work it puts in. A lot of gainers for amoffett. The chat has gone back to English from the kanji to the transliteration. Nice transformation. Anyway, so cave being this used for the discard effect here. Lots of money on GrassWonder's next turn. The groom is going to gain what? An ironworks, yeah. 3 is what? Experiment, enchantress, scheme. I mean, it's good for the wishes, yeah. Alright, so let's see what GrassWonder does with all their money here. They have 7. So they could pursue and then buy something. Stampede. If they want. I don't think they have 6 uniques. They have 5, right? They have a cave, they have a groom, they have an ironworks, copper lamp. So they don't have the 6 uniques yet, so maybe not stampede. You could pursue for groom or ironworks maybe, and then buy a cursed village, maybe. Horse is very good. Horse is very good. I concur. Alright, so let's see the 7 here. Pursue. Call in what? Because now you have to pick between ironworks and groom. Names groom, it didn't matter. But you did chuck a bad hand off, which is good. And what is the 5 for? A cursed village, is it? An archive? The archive, alright. Archive is reasonable too. Groom. Gains a passage, alright. 2 is probably to pursue. Naming ironworks. Name's groom. And loses the ironworks scheme and cave. No! That's terrible. Alright. 1 horse for GrassWonder. Ironworks groom. They knew they had that after their pursuit last turn. So let's see what the gains are here for the ironworks and the groom. Maybe passage enchantress experiment. You buy the experiments, right? Just with an eye to trigger in the magic lamp. So you want 1 passage, 1 enchantress, and then the experiments could help connect your 6 uniques. So there are 2 enablers for Cursed Village here. The Ironworks, the Groom, and okay, I said 2, I mean 3. Ironworks, Groom, Secret Cave. Ironworks and Secret Cave more so than the Cursed Village, because you could play those easily before the Cursed Village, right? And Cave could discard a bunch of cards, 3 cards, and then you throw all the way back up to 6 with your Cursed Village. So, you know, the heavy gaining deck is there. And the Cave will get you money. It gives a lot of money. 3 is a lot of money. And if you draw your whole deck, you have, what, the 6 coppers in it. So you have the province money already. If you have a couple schemes, you could always put Cursed Village, Cave on top of the deck, you know? There is something here. There is something here. With the heavy gain deck, lots of Ironworks, lots of Grooms maybe. The Ironworks are just easier to work with with the Cursed Village. The thing with the Groom though is that you get a horse in your deck every time you gain an action, which is valuable. but it doesn't play nicely. It doesn't. You want to see the groom after you've discarded and then drawn back up with Cursed Village. Then you're happy to see your groom, right? You don't want to see it with the Cursed Village, because you have to play the Cursed Village first, then the groom. Okay, so a second groom for GrassWonder and a secret passage and the scheme. Okay, so let's see who gets the lamp triggered first. Obviously, first player has an advantage on that. So here, amoffett takes what? An ironworks and experiments now. I mean, you really want this lamp to trigger off now, right? You have all the pieces you need. And they could have considered like 4 experiments there just to make that happen. Another secret passage. So I think they've made it a little bit more difficult for them to trigger the lamp. Alright. So GrassWonder played the archive. There's 3 coppers in the archive, which is actually good when you think about it. Discards the cave, also a good idea. Yeah, great. That scheme goes back on top of the deck. They're looking set to trigger their lamp next turn. Really. Yeah, look at that hand. That looks like a lamp activation to me. Passage. So scheme into passage. Probably gonna tuck the estate at the bottom of the deck. Let's see what the groom is for. Another ironworks. 3 is an experiment, yeah. Well, 2 experiments, obviously. Experiments come in pairs. Top deck's the groom there instead of the secret passage. And the grooms end up colliding. Alright, so there's the scheme, there's the lamp in hand. They already have it in hand. Ironworks, groom, copper, lamp. That's the 6. And those wishes can turn into cursed villages, right? In fact, here the horse doesn't even need to be played. Yeah, I'm not sure you want to trigger the shuffle. I think you want to shuffle in your wishes. So that horse really didn't do anything. Kind of a waste. You don't want to play the secret passage to trigger a shuffle. You could separate your grooms with the secret passage, of course, but I think the shuffle is more valuable than a groom play. So here in this position, what do you ironworks? This is interesting now. You could think about a second scheme to try to set up some kind of stability for the deck. Right. 2 schemes, 1 for a cave, 1 for a cursed village, gives you a decent start. Probably even more than a decent start. And you'll be constantly flooding your deck with good forecast actions, passages, experiments, ironworks, grooms, turn after turn. Enchantress is also there too to provide some good extra draw. But if you're going for the Enchantress route, I mean, you can still play Cave and Cursed Village. You won't draw as much from the Cursed Village, but that's fine still. Alright, so let's see how they build here, because this is very interesting. Okay, going for experiments with the ironworks. And I expect this to be a groom. play. Means no secret passage, no second groom, nothing like that. Just a groom. So actually, you could build the deck in such a way where you hog the experiments, you know. Like just in theory, right? Ideally, you have 5 ironworks, every single one of those could gain experiments, and then you never leave experiments for your opponent. So that is actually a resource to try and fight for. Experiments are very good cards, and it gives you some pile control. There you go, there's the lamp. And yeah, Japan opted for quad experiments, and with 5 here, I could see a cursed village. I could see a cursed village. Okay, they opt for the archive instead. Well, that's fine too. That's another way to build, right? You get lots of draw from the experiments and the archives, and then you just play ironworks like crazy. I mentioned the cursed village because each player has 2 grooms, so they would want some actions. Okay, so amoffett could potentially trigger their lamp here. They have to find it, of course. But we know the bottom 2 cards here from the secret passage. The lamp is close, but how close is it? Okay, discarding with the secret cave, gain an experiment. Okay, so they won't try to look for the lamp here. But these 5 cards are not that good, right? You've seen most of your good cards already, haven't you? Groom is for another ironworks. Yeah, here's the lamp with our horse only. We'll see how far that horse goes. Alright, archive scheme, archive. Now you have to pick between 3 good cards. Probably not the groom because you have one in your hand. So experimental horse doesn't really matter. Probably the experiment over the horse, because the experiment goes back to a pile, and you maybe play another experiment, and when you gain 1 experiment you gain 2 really, whereas horses from the grooms don't work like that. You only ever get 1 horse, so you probably try to save the horses as long as possible. Let me move this mouse. What did they take? They put the horse in the hand, okay. And they drew into an experiment here. So you see, if had it been an experiment, they could play both of them very comfortably and then regain them back. Alright, so the cave is left. Cave finds passage. Probably discards with this cave. I would. There's still 3 wishes in those 9 cards. You might find them. And you're looking at 2 of them. Alright, opt in not to discard. No wish yet. Secret passage, we'll put that estate at the bottom of the deck. And here's a wish. Probably for an archive. Seems to be consistent with how they've gone about building. Yeah, there's the archive. Archive will find another wish, which they could use for another archive, and they have things under control now. Ironworks, yeah. Regain the experiments. You wish for archive, right? Yes, no, maybe? Wish for gold. Okay, so they're going for province now. They could have wished for archive, played the archive, then bought the gold, then bought provinces on the next turn, you know. I mean, this is fine too. This is reasonable. What are you getting with the groom though? Passage? Ironworks here kinda behaves like cavalry. Cavalry gains you 2 horses when you play it. Ironworks will gain you 2 experiments when you play it. It's very similar actually. And cavalry is a good card. Alright, so what is the groom for? What is the groom for? I don't think scheme works well with their deck. Lots of duration cards. Could be an Ironworks. Could be a secret passage. Taking a long time on this groom decision here. I wonder. Silvers. Buying the province, okay. These silvers surprise me. Okay, so let's see. I still don't think amoffett is in a good position to trigger this lamp though. One secret cave is the count so far. 1 groom is 2, scheme is 3, copper lamp is only 5. Am I missing a card? No, I'm not, unfortunately. Okay, so they are going to forego playing some ironworks in order to trigger the lamp. Yeah. Is this a province? Yes. Alright. Okie doke. Alright, so both players seeming to enter the end game here now. So Japan has one wish left. They may consider holding on to that for as long as possible. Maybe. Maybe. There's always an interesting question, when do you play archive? You know, do you play as many action cards as you can play before the archive, so you have a complete picture of what your hand is, and you could pick something from the archive that could make it what you want it to be, or as best as it could be given the situation? Or do you play it in between, look for something reasonable, and then continue your turn with those cards? Alright, passage probably bottoms green, and they probably trigger the secret cave here. Okay, archive. This archive is probably gonna pick up the silver. They want the province. They don't want to spend their wish for gold, I imagine, if they could avoid that. They might have to, though. Yeah, Japan here is looking for a way to get a province, I think. And if they could do so without spending the wish, that's better for them. But I think they have to start by playing the cave. Right? Right. Play the cave. Groom first to draw by gaining an estate. That is unexpected. I'm not sure why the cave didn't come out to do that first. It wasn't a desperate situation, I think. Let's see if anybody's listening to me on Discord. Oh. Chat. Thank you for joining. Yeah. Alright, experiment. Alright, so there's the province money. So they do get to save their wish. I imagine they saved their wish. They could also opt for an archive, I guess. Never mind, opt in to go hard green. So their wishes are burnt out now. This last one went on a duchy, and previous two on archive and gold. Can I see what is in their archives? I can. Right, so one groom is in their archive. I think they have a second ironworks. They might try to find it with the experiment here. Just to avoid amoffett hogging the experiments. I think amoffett has more experiments and can hold on to more of them. That being said, amoffett doesn't have the archives, right? So a bit of a trade-off there. Yeah, I'm not sure where that ironworks is. If they know is in the bottom tray, I think I would try to get it. But maybe not. Maybe you just keep the experiment for the next turn. Because Yeah, GrassWonder's kind of put themselves in a position here where they have to get a province or two. Right, so the cave, that was coming for sure. Province, opting to keep the experiment for future use. Okay. So they probably get the province next turn too, now that the cave has discarded the green cards. Yeah, they already have 7 coin in hand. Alright, so let's look at Moffett's turn here. Lots of experiments on horses up front. Yeah, so this is where the bulk of their draw will come from, and they can regain all of these experiments. A lot of experiments, wow. More than I thought they had. So the secret passages will bottom the green cards. Yep. Ooh, but I think amoffett. Yeah, they'll probably use one of these wishes for gold here, otherwise they can't buy province. They can regain all of the experiments, opting for archive with one of their wishes. That probably is the scheme. Alright, probably is the scheme. No, goes for the wish, the second wish. Alright, so let's see what they do here. One of these has to be a gold, I feel. Draws with the groom. I don't know if that's necessary at this point in the game though. So here's gold, yes. And you regain 6 experiments. Okay. Do you use the last wish? I feel like you hold our wish, right? You don't need it? Yeah, okay. So 3 points adrift, that is the duchy. But amoffett has that wish still, so fairly even footing here. Let's see how long GrassWonder's deck can hold out. The archives will dry up soon, and they're already out of the shuffle. And they're not really holding anything that important or impactful. Alright, so they probably here have to use the groom to draw one. So gain the estate, look for money for province. They cannot fall behind, I feel. Amoffett has more draw, and draw that doesn't sit outside the shuffle as well. So GrassWonder should be looking to close the game up as soon as possible. Get to 4 provinces and then hold on for dear life. They have 2 of them so far. Can they get 2 more? They'll probably get to a 3rd here. The 4th one is going to be a bit tricky, both in terms of getting the money for it and when to time that. Yeah, I agree that chat, I want to call this man chat, they have to play the groom for estate here. The endgame requires them to make that play. maybe even double estate if they don't find the money for the province. And look, all 3 estates are outside the shuffle here. Okay, so they do get the money, and well, they take the 2 estates anyway. I don't know about the second estate, you know. Alright, so that's our 3rd province for them. So they... let's see what that deck can manage now. Amoffett is going to go ahead and probably draw a bunch of cards. Let's see if they use Groom for Estate. Yeah, they do. Here's an experiment. Here's another Groom for Estate, right? Yeah. Regain your experiments, of course. What will the last Ironworks play be for? Another estate. Do you convert the wish now? I feel you could still hold that. I think you get around to it again, but I understand if you want to convert it here. Alright. Both players out of wishes. Last one for Amoffett gets turned into a duchy, and they do take an estate with the last Ironworks. Pursue for what do you call experiment? Yeah, of course. Nice pursue. Gets rid of a bunch of dead cards. Alright, so Amoffett is sitting 1 point ahead here. Double experiment for grass. Ooh. They have province if they want it. Do they want it? I almost feel like they have to take it. And hope Amoffett cannot hit province. Amoffett doesn't have the cave in play, so they need to come up with that 8 with purely yellow cards. Maybe a cheeky Ironworks like GrassWonder does here. So what is the alternative for GrassWonder? Estate Duchy, right? And then hope to get province later. They could try that too. They could. That's not crazy. The archives will come back in play soon. Maybe not soon enough, but they could try Estate Duchy. They could try Experiments and Duchy. Yeah, I agree with you, Chatateo. I feel like the play is province here. Because their deck is falling apart, like you say. But the archives could make something happen. It does rely on luck, so maybe you just take what you have now. Alright, so let's see what road they go down. So this is the last archive for grass, right? Yeah. On the shuffle, all 3 will be in the deck again. But they're probably out of experiments and any other kind of draw as well, so may take them some time to see those archives. It all depends on the shuffle, both for grass and for Amoffett. Honestly, I don't think Amoffett can get the province. They have to see their gold. If they see their gold, their chances increase tremendously. If not, I don't think that province... Well, if not, then definitely not, right? Ironworks can only get them up to 7 if they see all their copper. So the gold is the critical card. They need to see one card out of 20 or something. Not actually 20, they have some draw, but they still have to see it. And for example, last turn, they didn't get, you know, very far through the deck, and now it's full of estates as well. I wouldn't fault Grass for trying the duchy route though. Yeah, you're right. The estate will draw a card. I guess they have to know what those 4 cards are precisely and what the chances are of drawing a treasure card. I wouldn't count on it though. Okay, so they do go for the duchy line, taking the last estate, and I assume this is a duchy, right? Pursue to name the archive. Reveals actually some real good cards. Those are 4 good cards. You did not want to see that go down the drain. Oh well. Alright, so let's see Amoffett's turn here now. So Ironworks will probably regain the experiments, there are no more estates to get. And they only have 2. Now I say they only have 2. But this means all the money is in the other side of the deck, which means they probably get to the province on the next turn. Yeah, 2 is not 5. Which would have been a duchy, so archive first. Okay. So I imagine they take the groom here. Seems like they also won't be able to buy a duchy, which is helpful for Amoffett. But they will get that secret cave in play, which makes it likely for them to gain province next turn. Which, yeah, you're right, that is very good for them. There are no more estates to gain. Amoffett is first player too, so a tie doesn't work for him. Or work for them, rather. Discards 3. What are you getting with the groom here, though? A passage? An enchantress? Silvers? Does go for the silvers, alright. Alright, let's see the experiments now. Alright, archive before the cave. Picks up an experiment. Whoa, this is still not enough money for province. That is not good. I mean, this is okay to an extent. The game continues for a couple more turns. So those bottom 2 cards are archives for grass? Really? Huh, that's too bad. I assume they take a groom out the archive. Oh, not a groom. The green card out the archive. Keep the copper in there. Because they don't need it to buy the duchy here, and the copper doesn't help them buy anything more significant than the duchy, yeah? Alright, so amoffett has province in hand. And they have to go first, there's no choice now. The question is, yeah, they need to set up their deck for next turn to at least gain a duchy. Right, so you put this experiment away because you don't need it. What's left in their archive? An ironworks. Could be a coin. I would play this scheme. You could top deck a secret passage. Oh, the gold goes back. That's a good choice too. This groom is for what exactly? Silvers as well. And yeah, they have to take the province. No choice. No choice. And hope they get there before grass. Now let's see if grass could get to duchy. Doesn't look so. Doesn't look so. But the game is not gonna come down to duchies, really. I mean, it might come down to duchies on a 3 pile, but it at this point is about who can get that province. And I don't know which deck is best suited to do that, to be honest. Taking the silver here for grass does nothing. They probably just keep it. Just keep the silver in the archive and take experiments away from amoffett. There's nothing else you can do. So Moffett actually needs one coin, and they could buy a duchy. The ironworks is in the archive, the gold is in hand. They played what, 5 copper last turn? So where's the last copper? If they find it, they get the duchy. And that is very good. Very good position for them if they get that duchy. Duchy will put them 6 points ahead. So they won't lose even if grass gets to the province. Right, so it stores the silver, gains the experiment. Alright, so let's see where that final copper is. There it is. They find it. So now, what do you do with the secret passage? Do you put the groom away? Groom isn't very helpful now. Or do we put an ironworks away actually? No, you put the groom away because one of these ironworks has to be for silver, and one has to be for experiment. So the groom has to be put away, yeah. And there's duchy. Alright, so currently unlosable position for amoffett. So they should be reasonably happy about that. And grass does not have a better play than taking the tie, I think. Yeah, okay. Oh my word. What? What a game that was. And the end of it all ends up in a tie. 4 provinces, 3 duchies, 7 estates. Alright, game 3. Peasant. Nice. We get to see our pile become extra powerful. Go on, put plus card on the grand market. Did you ask me how I can buy a black market, grand market? You could, you could bargain for a mountebank and open with mountebank and peasant. You could also go amulet and peasant, but mountebank seems too strong. This is horrible. How are you actually buying a grand market? You know, another idea is, yeah, you go mountebank peasant, right? Fire bargain. And then you work your peasant all the way up to teacher. Playing the lucky coin along the way. And you have 4 or 5 mountebanks in your deck. And then put plus action or plus coin on them. Trashing will be difficult here. Yeah, because you want to play mountebank and amulet, and there's no actions. Sometimes they won't collide, sometimes they will collide. Transport puts the mountebank on top of the deck. The issue here is that you forego the peasant, right? But to be honest, what do you do with the teacher? What do you do with the disciple? They aren't great uses for them. So top bargain, double mountebank. Alright, I see you. That is a double mountebank opening. Oh, amoffett had 5 too. Okay, so they get mountebank peasant. Against double mountebank. And both players with the silver, right? Yeah. Alright, so let me see how Grass plays this now. Do they get a peasant ever? I feel like the time for them to do that would be in this shuffle. If they want it at all. Exiles grand oh, that's how you get grand market. The transport. Right. Alright, so there's 2 mountebanks now for amoffett. 5 is... Oh, the silver from the coin goes into a changeling. Yeah, the changelings with the lucky coin can gain grand markets, but they have to line up. They're not always gonna line up. Yeah, looks like another slug indeed. So what's the play here? Just top deck grand markets until you get one and then release 4 or 5 from your exile mat. So Moffat has collision with the mountebank and the peasant and chooses the mountebank instead. Which is fine. Exiles Grand Market. Yeah, this is terrible. This mountebanks will kill the game. Oh, they top decked? Ah, alright, thanks there for that correction. Grass did top deck that Grand Market instead of exiling it. So exile and then top deck again. Oh, they're getting good cards. Gold for amoffett here. Yeah, and the changeling does actually connect with the Grand Market. My word. If I was amoffett, I would feel bad. I feel like this man just get lucky. Okay, the double mountebank opener was good, but connecting this Grand Market with the changeling, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's not as bad as I think. Probably exchange. Now I like exchanging because there are lots more mountebanks and Grand Markets in your deck. But I guess transport can top deck, right? So you time your transport, track your changeling. So yeah, it's probably not as bad as I think it is. This is our third mountebank. Huh. Gains our Grand Market. Here's the peasant on turn 6. Transport Grand Market on top of the deck. Alright, what do they do now? Just keep transporting these Grand Markets. Yeah, probably there is nothing better to do. Amoffett will probably top deck a Grand Market here. Yeah, right, I missed that. Good play. Good idea. Changeling again with Grand Market. Very nice, very nice. So they could transport exile and then gain 2 of them. Alright, so the Grand Market pile will empty. The curses will empty. But I don't see a third pile emptying. Oh look, amoffett connects their changeling with Grand Market too. How are they doing this? How are they doing this? I want to know. I want to do this in my games too. Band of Misfits. They could have transported our Grand Market and gained the last 2 here. Huh. What is the band for? What is the band for? Amulet? So no one has Grand Markets exiled. There's one left in the pile. Yeah, you could play the Fool the one time, I suppose. Exiles Grand Market, so they'll top deck that last one at some point later. No peasant, so there they had 2 and a buy, and yeah, it was way too late for peasant. Gains gold, amoffett, okay. Probably top deck in the Grand Market here, right? If that peasant ever makes it to teacher, still put in the plus card on Grand Market will be good for a Moffat. They may have lost the split here, I think. 6-4. I'm not entirely certain though. The pause here is for what? Do you also want a band of misfits? It surely can't be peasant amulet, right? They've repeatedly skipped the peasant. Picking it up now is inconsistent with how they've played so far. Duchy. Alright, so that's how you want to play the game. Okay. That's not the worst idea in the world. What? Look at these grand markets. Look at them go. Yeah, the duchy is not the worst idea in the world. This could be triple duchy if you like. I think they like that actually. No, opts for transport. Curses aren't low enough yet, but Grand Market buy plus multi-bank will run them out quick enough. Oh, province. Okay, I didn't expect that. I expected them to just hit the duchy similar to an ill-gotten gains game. But I guess in ill-gotten gains games, if you get province, you take province, so... I thought he would be trying to rush a Moffat out of the game here. Bargain gains another multi-bank. I mean, is multi-bank a pile now? Is that what's happening? More gold for a Moffat. So they're playing it well, right? Target the provinces, get lots of them. Don't push the duchies down to make the rush come more quickly. I wonder if this peasant will ever get all the way up to teacher. Okay, what? Now gold? Alright, no. That's not consistent. Province for a Moffat. And what for 5? Another band? Another band could be the play. No. Province Duchy to equalize on points. Alright, so I guess both players have decided to go for green now. Successful mountebank. 7 is what? Gold or duchy? Duchy. Estate? Maybe you get the estate. I don't know. I want the peasant to become a teacher so bad. Just reaching teacher is a sense of accomplishment. You need one more shuffle to put down the teacher. Oh yeah, I'm just seeing that comment. Could take a ton of estates. That's when the 4 grand markets were in play, right? Because they're going for 5 estates. Yeah. But I don't think that would have put grass ahead enough at that point. Amoffett has quite a bit of gold and the odd buy here and there with their grand markets, so I guess the thought here is estate or no estate. I think is estate. If you continue pushing duchy pile, then it's estate. If you continue to alternate gold and duchy, then I don't know. Okay, opts for no estate. Alright, let's see the band. Are you a fool? Are you a cardinal? You are a fool. Alright. Wisp, trash, and an extra card next turn. Gets rid of a copper. 6 is what? Keeping up with the duchy. Alright, cheers. I doubt we'll see that teacher. Another mountebank hit. And another duchy. Whew. These grand markets are glued together. How is this happening? Hey, top deck at that point is nice actually. Top deck at grand market. Top deck the disciple just to convert it to teacher. It did top deck the disciple. I feel like should have top deck grand market. No. Unless they know. Okay, they knew. They had actions left. Okay, cool. So this is, what is this? Is this province? Yeah, province duchy, right? Province duchy or duchy estate? No, province duchy. Right. Alright, so that mountebank connects twice. Do you buy the duchy? Ooh, that's spicy. And finally we see the teacher. Hooray! No, we don't convert it. Grass picks up the last duchy. They look in a good position. Amoffett needs province. They get the province. Cheers. Game is close. Very close. Alright, grass probably takes the estate now. Alright, chat. Thanks for... Oh, we're talking to someone else. But yeah, if you do leave Discord as well, thanks for taking your time. I appreciate the company. Alright, double estate here. Yeah. What is the band for now? Peasant gets him double estate here. And the fool gave him the extra buy anyway. No. So, what now? Okay, now peasant doesn't do anything. Do you play peasant anyway? Do you play? No, you probably play amulet, right? To get the extra coin next turn, or potentially trash or curse. That's a point. I don't think you play cardinal. You don't want to flip 2 green cards. Plays band as amulet and takes 2 estate. Is 2 estates safe? Probably. Then they would need... Okay, amulet to gain silver. That part doesn't matter. Alright, grass not seeing their grand markets now. And probably doesn't want to take the estate here. Probably doesn't do anything. Probably just buys silver, transports something. Okay, yeah, silver. Alright, so this is stuck as an amulet, am I right? Okay, obviously Fool has to resolve first. Then this is stuck as an amulet. And the estate, you just continue along the estate line, right? Yeah. Now grass needs a province. They get their province. Wait. Oh my god. Oh no. They get more than the province even. They get province and state. Province curse. Province and state curse. Wow. Alright, that was well done by Grass. The transport tricks to put the grand markets on top of the deck made them win that split 7-3, and then they pushed the game quickly into the end game. And amoffett, I think their deck wasn't prepared to handle the end game at that time. Alright, this is game 4. Where are we with time? So now it's 2.5 to 1.5 to Japan. Alright, we have a kingdom here with where the pig was always a relief. Solve all your terminal collisions with the pig. Oink oink. What is our druid saying today? Don't buy me. Okay, no problem. Actually, probably buy it anyway, cause plus buy. That's kind of rough. So we have Fairgrounds on the board and Triumphal Arc as well. The Fairgrounds is curious because you have a lot of unique cards in this Ruins pile. You could make your Fairgrounds worth 6 points very easily. You know, there's already 10 kingdom cards. 8 of these green and yellow cards. And then you could definitely find 2 unique ones in here, in the brown pile. So, in theory, your Fairgrounds could be worth 8 points. To get your deck to that state, you probably want to load up early with Church, yeah, an Old Witch, Storyteller, Druid, early a Scavenger, or you get the Ironworks. The Ironworks gains a bunch of cards for you, and then you stuff money, and then at some point when you have enough money, You buy province, and then you start to buy all the junk. You know? Alright, so amoffett. What is the open here? Church Ironworks against Church Ironworks? Probably. But I don't know if you have time to build that whole money heavy deck going for fairgrounds. I think you can actually, but Storyteller is on the board and that's a strong draw card. Maybe you don't. Yeah, so both, okay, amoffett bought a second church. Both players open Church Ironworks. So Grass is thinking about what to do with their 4 here. And I wonder how they're thinking about this game. How do they go about it? Buying a treasure map is not crazy, you know. They gain a second Ironworks, which is fair too. Alright, so amoffett sets 2 aside, picks up the Druid. Is that enough to get a 5? If you use the Ironworks for silver. Yeah, this church sets 3 aside on the Ironworks. I actually like the second Ironworks from Grass, to be honest. But what would they use this Ironworks for? Druid? Scavenger? Oh, actually, with the pig. All these actions just turned in the pigs. Ha! That actually helps the fairground bill. Ruins? No problem. Ruin market equal pig. Does gain the treasure map? No, though. Huh. It's not crazy. Death God already. Huh. Why? Trashes on estate with the church. Obviously, this is treasure pig map, and with the treasure map, the Storyteller seems a little bit better. I mean, you're foregoing the Old Witch, which is a good card, but still. Moon here will top deck the Death God, actually, and get what, silver? Yep. Okay. So treasure pig. At least one of these Ironworks is for treasure map. What is the other one for? Scavenger. Another treasure map. Maybe actually another treasure map, you know. You trigger your treasure maps, then you have your Storytellers drawing lots of cards. Double Ironworks in play. Kinda see where Grass is going with this. Yeah, triple treasure map. And the second church. Nice buy. So does go ahead play this Death card and trashes it for a Storyteller of their own. Not a great hand for grass. That's a 2 in 1 hand, not a 2 in 7 hand. Goes for a third church even. Alright. So let's see what Amoffett has in mind here. I feel like they want a storyteller and they don't want to set anything aside with this church. I wonder if they'll follow on the treasure map plan though. Does set aside 1 ironworks. No, continues with the death card. Okay. I'm curious about these death cards. Really, truly curious. Now grass here with triple church on the treasure maps. I kinda like their deck more. This is fine. This draw. They could get 2 churches and play 3 if they really want to, but I think 2 is better in case the treasure map misses next turn. Just tuck it away. I think with triple church they're guaranteed to trigger those treasure maps this shuffle. This is probably church for 1, church for 2, and then pass it back. Could even buy the ruin, right? Because that's basically pig ruin. Doesn't hurt the deck at all. Okay, so now Amoffett follows on the treasure map. Probably turns his druid into a pig. You would like to go into the next shuffle with 2 treasure maps, right? Going to top deck instead? Okay, yeah. Top deck as storyteller is fair too. Another silver, yep. So what I think will happen now, these treasure maps will collide, and then grass will hammer provinces. Unfortunately leaving no time for people to build up massive fairgrounds. So sad. But I didn't think it would happen. I mean, this storyteller on the board, right? Even without treasure map, like, just gain silver with ironworks or buy gold and you have good draw and good money with storyteller alone. I think grass is ahead here. Chooch will get rid of these 3 copper. Yeah. And I assume this is our province. Right? Ruined pig market. Double church set aside. Yeah. And then pass it back into what I expect to be a province. They could get another storyteller too, that would be fine. But they take the province, as expected. Lots of treasure pigs this game, huh? Alright, there's Amoffett's second map. Death Pig, Wind Pig. Storyteller till the end of the deck. No storyteller through the deck. But why? Druid turns into pig. Ironworks another map by a storyteller. Yeah, okay. So I think grass here will, yeah, obviously do treasure pig first, and then it'll be iron pig. Pig works to look for gold. I was wrong, it's Death God. Is it another Death God and a storyteller by then? Another Death God, yep. Five is what? Storyteller, right? Has to be. It has to be storyteller. You have triple church, you could go triple storyteller for arc points later in the game. Storyteller helps you draw into these death cards that you've recently gained. Come on. What is... There's nothing else to consider on 5 here though. I don't think you want the old witch, because you want to be playing death card as your terminal. This has to be a storyteller. Was dead time is not good for videos. Please help me. Please. Buy a storyteller. Thank you. Alright, druid into pig. Alright, so they get the collision here. Ironworks. Could play the ironworks, yeah, definitely. For what though? What would you like to gain with your ironworks today? So grass is going to miss province on that hand there, which hurts. Because Moffett could catch up on points on their next turn. It'll create fun interest in endgame, of course. And boom, treasure maps go. Alright, nicely done by Moffett. Here's a death card. You see a death card, but what it actually is a death pig. Grass doesn't have a church in play right now. No. Maybe they buy another storyteller here and move on. I feel like that is the play. I think the player's church set the copper aside and the province aside and buy a storyteller. You could think about setting the golds aside with the copper instead. Maybe you do that actually. Because I don't think they have enough money in the next hand to buy a province. Or you could set aside just a single gold and buy a 4 cost. Not a treasure map even. Ironworks, death card. It doesn't really matter what you buy because pig turns everything into a cantrip. Really, like this way just makes cultists completely ineffective. Incredible. Alright, what fairgrounds? What? Why fairgrounds? But why would you purchase a fairgrounds? Ooh, iron pig. Did not expect that. This is our province for amoffett. Yes. Of course. Well, the ironworks could gain actions and maybe could help out for the arc, right? I thought that's what would happen there. So Grass could take their storyteller for 5 cards here, which probably gets them to province, to be honest. As I say 5 cards, I meant, if you know, I did mean 5 cards. Well, 6, including the one from the storyteller itself. Yeah, so they just have to pig enough of these actions and they'll find treasure. Not that big a deal. They even have death cards in the deck, right? So I think once you connect your storyteller with a gold, you're very likely to be able to get the province that turn. So the fairgrounds buy last turn from Grass is in anticipation of entering the endgame, going full green, right? So ideally they would have liked to just hit province after province after province. It didn't work out with the shuffles, but they still wanted to keep us as close to the points as possible. So that's what the fairgrounds signals there. It's a message to amoffett. I plan to buy only green cards from this point forward, and I plan to try and run out the provinces first because I started in on the provinces first. If I go through that pile deep enough or fast enough, I will win, and you have to do something about that. So that's what the fairgrounds buy last turn says to me. Alright, so the church turns into a pig. And they find a death card, so now they could set aside whatever they like and probably play the death card and buy a province. I don't know if they have in mind to go for double province or province fairgrounds with the extra buy from the druid. Right, okay, so this druid turned into a pig. I assume they were looking for a ruin to trash with the death god, which they now have, and never mind, choose to play it as a pig. Alright. Well, anyways, this draw now, they could choose to draw further into the deck, or they could choose to set aside the death god to play the ironworks. Alright, it looks like they will stop here. Set aside the death god for sure on the province. We'll play the ironworks for a death god. Yes, a death god to pick up another province. Alright, so a Moffett has to stay close here in hot pursuit. It will be difficult. I think a Moffett will need grass to brick to stall on a turn to catch up. It is possible. We'll see. So at this point here, to catch up on points, I think Amoffett needs to start considering using these ironworks. Okay, it's a nice turn for them. Nice turn. So they have 3 tellers, right? They could go for... They want to trigger that treasure map with the other one, I think, to gain even more gold in the deck, which is fine. What I was going to say is they could start using these ironworks to get Triumphal Arc points. So they could gain another ironworks. That would give them 3 ironworks and 3 storytellers. So they opt to build here, actually. So this is interesting now. I guess the plan for this turn for Amoffett is draw through the deck, trigger the second pair of treasure maps, get lots of gold, and then double province, maybe look at fairgrounds. And now also that they have 5 storytellers, it does give them more scope for arc points later in the piece as well. Grass, I guess, will continue with their plan of hitting the provinces hard and often. So yeah, pigs, this storyteller will probably go death pig and then trash the ruined library. So grass here could even gain an ironworks with the ironworks. That'll give them 3 points. I have 3 churches, 3 ironworks. Goes for scavenger instead. Yeah, this is going to be another province, so I don't think Amoffett has time. They could buy a province here and then trigger the treasure maps. That's certainly possible. Well, maybe they do have just enough time, actually. Maybe they do have enough time. I may have miscalculated that. I think they have enough time. Ironworks for scavenger, but I really don't know why. Start gaining the arc points. So church triple storyteller. Ironworks for ironworks. Trigger the treasure map by the province. And you live in large. You set up well for next turn. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you do storyteller, and some treasure. Unfortunately, there's no treasure left to set aside. More maps, but fairgrounds. Okay, so not going after the province. I think there was time to go after the province though. Right? I think there. This fairgrounds was worth 6 points, which is fine. So if they took the province there, Grass's deck is not set up for double province, so the most they could do single province. So we're looking at 18 to 37, but amoffett would have the ironworks to gain ironworks. That's 6 points off the arc and double province. Is that enough? That's 18. No, that's actually not enough. So one day I'll learn to calculate properly. So the fairgrounds is the correct play then. I mean, they could have got away with a province here as well, but no, just make it more difficult for your opponent. Fairgrounds is absolutely correct. They have the number they need, 15 unique cards to make them with provinces, so that's great, that's fine. That's probably what the scavenger was about. And this church could keep setting aside massive amounts of storytellers. Yeah, wow. The second church could even set aside more cantrips, right? So there's a lot of draw being set aside here. You probably set aside our gold at least, yeah, for the storytellers that you have in the back. And this is probably 12 for double fairgrounds. Yeah, this is nicely done by amoffett here. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Judged that they had enough time to build and then targeted the fairgrounds pile. Now Grass is in a little bit of trouble because their deck is not set up to double gain. Well, not double gain, but double province or double fairgrounds or anything like that. They could double gain. They have lots of ironworks. They probably have to pig this ironworks or church to look for money for province. But single province loses to double province from Moffat here. So they're in a tough position. But they don't really have a choice but to go for the province. Yeah, no, I think this is an easy win for amoffett11. This has to be an easy win, right? Just double province, kill the game. Dead. Look at that. Storyteller drawing 10 cards. Hooray. Alright, so that leaves the match tied up at 2.5. I know this is unsatisfying, but I have to go to sleep now. So you'll find out about the results at a later time. Who wins the thrilling conclusion to the match here, tied up at 2.5 to 2.5. Yeah, the win is in hand already, right? Gain ironworks, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was easy in the end there, but nicely played. assessing the game state well and build into suit. Alright, let's just quickly look at the kingdom here. This might take a while actually, so I'll stop here. I apologize to the viewers, but it's a bit late and I should get some rest. Alright, thank you all for watching, and I'll let you know how things go later.